Yes, people, how are we? Hope all is well. So, a little bit different video today. What I want to do is just break down, essentially, in my opinion, as a coach for the past 8 years, I have noticed a very, very common trend amongst the majority of people, right? I call it like the hidden five. So, the five things that are stopping you getting in shape without even realizing it. Okay, you may have realized one or two, but like I guarantee you, you would not realize them all. Okay, so the reason why I'm going over it, I had a call with somebody last week, and this really became very very apparent on the call, and I just thought, right, everybody needs to hear this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is break it down step by step, elaborate on both points, and then, like I said, hopefully, you can obviously apply it in your own lives and get obviously the results that you want off the back of it. So essentially, the first one's going to be the phone, the thing that nobody talks about. Okay, like yes, obviously we need it. Yes, we work on it. Yes, for example, we speak to friends and family on it. But a big thing that I hear people say is, I haven't got time to train. I haven't got time to eat right. I haven't got time for this. I haven't got time for that. You look at people's screen time, they have time to scroll. Okay, like I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like I'll do it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I say, oh, I'm too busy and stuff like that. And again, like I work on my phone, but again, like I sometimes waste time on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm a coach. I should fucking lead by example. Do you know what I mean? So a little bit of vulnerability there, but like this is a huge one that not enough people talk about, right? So yes, it takes up a lot of time. Where, for example, sometimes you could squeeze a even 30, 35 minute workout in there. But in reality, you're coming back from work, you're drained, you sit on the sofa, you scroll TikTok or whatever you're scrolling, and then before you know it, it's 7 o'clock, dinner, and then put the kids to bed or chill out for a bit, and then you're in bed, and then that cycle repeats, right? So again, I will always suggest to my guys anyway, try and get that workout done first thing in the morning, because the longer you leave it in the day, I don't know, your boss could be a dickhead, this could have happened, this could have happened. The likelihood of you doing it gradually decreases the later the day, well, the later the day goes on. Okay, so obviously, constant scrolling kills your energy and your focus. This is going to impact, yes, in the gym, but also impact your performance at work, which is massively important to look out for. It's also going to drain the energy that you need for workouts, like obviously we just said there for the meal prep, where you obviously focus on building muscle or dropping body fat. And I've just added in there like the actual willpower. Do you know what I mean? Just actually drains you to actually want to do the work. It can drain your motivation. It can make you a little bit lazy. Do you know what I mean? It's a very, very easy thing to do, but it can have a huge impact on the actual goals that you actually want to achieve. Okay, so that is probably, in my opinion, one of the biggest ones. The second thing is, when people, again, whether people want to, it's more so fat loss, but whether people want to build muscle or drop body fat, it's they set the standards so high on themselves, and if they don't meet that standard on a consistent basis, it's like, right, there's no point. I can't stick to it, like, and they just sack it off completely. When in reality, if they set that bar lower, you can meet that standard consistently over a prolonged period of time, therefore yielding better results. Okay, I've put there like you're either on it or you're off it. There's no in between. Like I hate it when people say like I'm all in or nothing. Right? It's not a very, very good approach to have when fitness or whatever change you're going through, it should be a sustainable lifestyle change. It's not just for an 8, 12, 16 week program. Do you know what I mean? That's not the way you run it, because in reality, people always get results, but then they always go backwards. It's because they have this approach. They go super, super strict. They go super, super hard straight off the bat. And then in reality, they can't maintain that momentum. And then things start to slip. It gets too difficult. The overwhelm kicks in. And then in reality, we gradually start to go backwards. And then you find yourself 2, 4, 6, however many months back at square one again. Okay. So that's a big one. Again, missing one workout and then writing off the whole week. Do you know what I mean? That both goes to food as well. You've not stuck to your diet for one day, right? Let's write the whole week off. Do you know what I mean? Or you got pissed at weekend, right? Or that ruins the next 3 days. Do you know what I mean? It's having it all. It's uh, having a stronger mindset with this. Do you know what I mean? It's like I would rather you do less work but more consistent over a prolonged period of time, because then it's more manageable, therefore, like I said, yielding into better results. And everybody's routine, everybody's structure within their week is going to be different, right? But again, it's like what's manageable for you. If at the minute 2 sessions per week is manageable for you, and that's physically, you can't get any more in, then that is what you'll do and that's what you'll stay consistent with. When it's like, right, if you set the goal as 4 when you know you could probably only do 2, it makes you feel a little bit shit about yourself if you can't maintain that standard. Okay, so you need to have that mindset of like, right, yes, this is where I can actually maintain right now. This is what I want to be consistent. And then you tick in the boxes week on week, even like I said, if the standards is a little bit lower. Okay, so with that as well, consistency beats perfection every time. If you're always striving perfection, you're always setting that bar too high. Like I said, when you hit that bar a little bit lower, do you know what I mean? It doesn't make you feel good about yourself. It makes you feel like you are failing. And then, like I said, that feeling can build week on week, day by day. And then, like I said, it can just be like jacking in the whole entire thing. And then it's like stop, start scenario. Yeah. Third one is it's going to be maybe rustle a few feathers. Sometimes having the wrong people around you. Okay, like if you want to achieve a certain result and everybody around you is doing the complete opposite, you obviously heard the phrase like I don't know, whoever you hang around with, you will turn into. Do you know what I mean? You develop the habits of the people that you're around. Same with that. You hang around with five millionaires, you're going to be the sixth. Do you know what I mean? You hang around with five smackheads, you're going to be the sixth. Do you know what I mean? It works both ways, both positively and negatively. So it's like, right, always, as we sort of said in that previous point there, consistency is the name of the game. Consistency is what yield results. How can you make being consistent much easier? Okay, if you were to surround yourself with people who are on a similar sort of mission, you find yourself in a community group, you find yourself a coach which has a community, everybody around you is your support system, right? You become the people who you surround yourself with. If you're surrounding yourself with positive people that are working on themselves, who want to better themselves, naturally that's going to rub off on you, even if you're not at that point when you actually enter that group or circle, however you want to frame it. Okay, so again, you don't want to be going out with people. It's like, oh, if you want to try and you've probably had it before when you've tried not drinking for like a month or two. Oh, he's not drinking now. He's too good for us. Do you know what I mean? That like that environment, that surrounding, it can drag you down. And like, do you know what I mean? Then these people that say them things, and then like I said, you have that drink, or do you know what I mean? You do that thing, whatever it may be. Do you know what I mean? So it's surrounding yourself with positive people who are going to bring you up, not essentially drag you down, and therefore that will make your journey a hell of a lot easier. Again, another boring one that people do not talk about enough, especially with a lot of obviously business owners that I work with, it's they sacrifice sleep to push their business forward, or whether it's obviously climbing that career ladder, you're working so many hours, burning a candle at both ends, and then that's impacting your physique, it's impacting your energy levels, it's impacting your overall life. Yes, the bank account might be going up, but again, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You yourself, your health needs to be a priority, because there's going to be a certain point where you will burn out if you're not fueling your body correctly, if you're not recovering correctly from this work that you are doing. Okay, so poor sleep, again, that will always result in more cravings, right? If you are getting to the gym, it's going to result in worse sessions, right? And again, short of fuse. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's obviously with your fella or with your missus, like certain things that probably wouldn't piss you off usually. If your sleep is poor, you're going to start snapping, and then you're going to result in arguments, and then like I said, it just spirals. Do you know what I mean? So the sleep, I always say to people, is the cornerstone of everything, right? No matter how good your training is or anything else, if your sleep is poor, you're leaving a lot of progress on the table. Okay, essentially that's what people need to understand, that when you're in the gym, regardless of whatever you're working towards, you are not building muscle in the gym. You are damaging it. You are tearing the muscle. When you are building and when you are actually, well, transforming, too much of a cringy term, that happens when you are recovering, when you are sleeping, when you are taking time out away from the gym. So you can only train as hard as you can recover. So aim for, like I said, 7 to 9 hours, a really cool and dark room, really important. So I would suggest an eye mask, and especially right now, like get a fan, and just having a good routine. So what I mean by that is having ideally as many days within the week as possible consistent sleep and consistent wake up times. Really important for your circadian rhythm. And then naturally you just get up at whatever time that your body just literally just wakes up, and you won't even need an alarm. I'll always set an alarm anyway, because I shit myself just make sure that it's not going to go off and I'm going to sleep in. But your body will just naturally wake up, and then when your body's naturally waking up, you feel much of a better term, awake and alive, like within the actual day. And then you're not having to survive on bloody endless coffees and monsters and all that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Which will then impact your sleep the following night. Okay. 5, you are not tracking anything, right? some people will track food for a couple of weeks and then they'll drop off. Some people track the workouts for a couple of weeks and then they'll drop off, right? It takes 1 or 2 minutes, right? And 1 or 2 minutes out of your day to get the result that you want is literally nothing, right? So when somebody comes on board to me and is like, oh, I don't really want to track food, don't want to track my workouts, I'm like, well, don't bother then, because you don't want the result as much as you do. I always say to people want the view, but they never want to do the climb, right? This does take work, right? Yes, having a coach or anything like that makes your life easier, but you still have to do the work, right? You still have to do that. So when people say, "Oh yeah, I know what I'm eating roughly anyway, so I don't really need to track," yeah, but then you have that snack there, or you do this, or you do that, and then it's a little bit different within your day. And like even if it's 200-300 calories either way, each day that you're not accounting for, do you know what I mean? That adds up. 200 calories, even a small 200 calorie over what you think you're on across the week, that's 1,400 calories that you are not accounting for, right? Yeah, that is right, isn't it? Yeah. That is 1,400 calories you're not accounting for. Do you know what I mean? That compounds. And again, usually it's probably going to be more than 200 calories, right? So again, you can see how everything compounds both negatively and both positively. Okay. So we need to be looking at tracking food. We need to be looking at tracking steps, sleep, weights, etc. Right? The numbers do not lie. And again, when I always come down to when people say, oh, I'm not motivated to do this or do that, easy thing to do when you can see these metrics going in the right direction, it motivates you to do more work, right? It motivates you to stay on track. It motivates you to be more consistent, right? And that's exactly what we always come back down to, being consistent. That's what yields results. And when you're doing this and you can see the numbers increasing, you can see literally in front of you things increasing, things getting better, things progressing, it gives you more push, it gives you more drive to do more of the work and obviously then get the result. Okay. Like I said, tracking equals progress and guessing will equal frustration. That is literally it. No matter how long you've been doing this, like I get always be specific with it, because it's like, right, when it all comes down to doing work and getting as much, well, return from that work, that's exactly what is needed, right? If we're not tracking it, we don't know if we're progressing, right? And if we don't know if we're progressing, it's all right sweating it out and doing all this work. But if we don't know we are actually moving forward, then it's like, right, sometimes you'll think, well, I don't even know if I'm making any progress. Like, I'm doing all this work and nothing's happening. Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, the more ways you track, the more ways you can win. Okay, so yeah, I just thought I just break that down in terms of, right, essentially what I see week on week, month on month, year by year, through obviously doing this job. And I think, like I said, we can get these moving in the right direction. It's going to be very, very difficult to not get you the result that you actually want to get to. Alongside, like I said, I always say, if you've got that, if you've got that accountability, it's always going to help as well. But like I said, if well, we're not getting into that conversation in terms of obviously doing it on your own. But yeah, so literally, hopefully you've obviously got something from this. Hopefully I've made it as simple as possible and easy to actually implement into your lives. As always, if you've got any sort of like questions or anything like that, obviously drop me a message or obviously put it in the comment section. And like I said, if you did like this video, drop me a like, go on. And then obviously if you do like the content, then drop us a sub. But yeah, I'll stop wambling on now. So yeah, speak to you soon, guys.